Hello, 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 beautiful people. Welcome back to Zip Mouth Motivation Podcast, where we keep it real, raw, and authentic, but always love. Always, 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 always love. So, welcome to the show. Tonight, we are going to, I don't want to say we're going to conquer a moment. I'm going to say that we are going to embark on something that is very powerful. A few weeks ago, I did a podcast about why we glorify things that we should not glorify. And I wanted to continue that series. And in between, as you can see, I'm having some guests. And we went out with Women's History with a bang. Like, we went out with a bang. So I enjoyed the whole month of Women's History. I enjoyed all my guests. It was a wonderful time. And I got a lot of knowledge and I met some new friends, different things like that. So I'm excited to be back here again in front of you all, getting ready to talk about something that I know a lot of us battle with. I would say a lot of us battle with. And I would say a lot of us fall into this trend, which is also very different, is that we fall into this trend of glorifying struggle versus success. Like, we will glorify the hard way, and then if we feel like you didn't work hard to get to where you were, then we making you feel bad. Because we like, oh, you ain't worked hard enough to get there. But why do we glorify the hard way when things should be easy anyway? I just want you to think for a second. If I didn't go through a struggle, right? Because we all go through struggles. I go through struggles, you go through struggles, the whole world goes through struggles at some point in our life. But what if we had everything easy? Would people still respect us? Will they still look at us the same? Will they still look at our success the same? Because every time somebody is successful, we come with this story of the struggle. And then the people who don't have the struggle, when they say, I had everything given to me, basically, I went from this child who had everything and my parents made sure I had everything, and now I'm a successful person. We don't really hear about those people that much because we feel like they don't have a story to tell, but they do. Because success is something that should be celebrated. So why is it that success only seems to count if you suffered? Why do we respect the grind, but we side eye the flow? In our culture, we glorify struggle like it's a rite of passage. But at what cost? Today on Zip Mouth Motivation, we're going to break down why we have been conditioned to believe that the harder the journey, the more valuable the success. But is that reality? And more importantly, who does that belief really serve? I'm your host, Demasha Kane, and today's episode is going to challenge everything you thought you knew about success, hustle, culture, and breaking free from the struggle mindset. But before we dive in, don't forget to take care of your mind, body, and soul with some Takaya Divine tea. If you would like to order some, definitely get with me, inbox me, email me. If you can't find it, don't worry, I'll send it to you. I'll send you the link. Also, if you would like to catch the show, don't forget to tap into Just TV on Roku TV. You're going to search for SSH101 TV. and you look for the rotating shows, fast forward to just TV and go ahead and watch the live there. 10 p.m. every Tuesday. And of course, Zip Mouth Motivation airs every Tuesday on 101.5 Indie Radio at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. So let's get into it. All right. Let's get into this. To understand why we glorify struggle, we have to look back at history, right? We have to go back a little bit because y'all know I like to do that. I like to go back just a little bit because that helps us understand. So when we think about older times or our ancestors, do you really think that they wanted to glorify the struggle? That they were okay with the pain? Because when we start glorifying things, that means that we're okay with that. I can go back to during slavery. Survival was the only option. Endurance was necessary. Showing weakness could mean death. But at this stage right now, showing weakness does not mean death. It doesn't mean that. And rest seemed to be back then a luxury. And for some of us now, we might feel like rest is a luxury, right? We might feel like rest is a luxury. And I can dig that because sometimes I feel like rest is a luxury. But people had to fight tooth and nail back then in order to get to where they needed to get to. Could you imagine? You know what? I'm gonna hold that. I'm gonna hold that thought. I'm gonna hold that thought. You have to think about then they had to constantly push and go through oppression, being oppressed by whoever. And here's what happened. The ability to suffer and keep going became a symbol of strength. But who the heck wants to suffer? None of us. None of us want to suffer. It was passed down through generations, creating the idea that if you weren't working hard enough, or if you weren't struggling, you weren't really working. You weren't really getting to the space where you need to get to be successful. If success came too easy, it wasn't real. And that was the mindset then. But how can we shift this mindset? Because when you really think about it, right? If you glorify the struggle, you could never see the success. The success seems so far away. But if you start celebrating every little win that you have, every little thing good that happened, I mean, the smallest things. I remember this, right? I remember I used to be like, oh, and this is at a time when I didn't have a lot of money. I'll be like, oh, I want to eat some, let's just say Burger King, right? And I'll start counting up my little money and I'll be like, oh, okay, I got enough to get me a burger. But dang, I want some fries and a drink, right? It would seem like every time I did that, that I would go to the window to pay for my burger, they'll be like, hey, we made the wrong stuff, but here's some fries, here's a drink. And in the beginning, I was thinking nothing of it, but I was like, after a while, I was like, wait a minute, that seemed like a successful moment to me because I didn't have a lot of money. So I had to start celebrating that. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. That made me happy. That made my day. And we have to start getting to that thought pattern when it comes to success. I was no longer focused on the fact that I didn't have enough money. I was more focused on, thank you. I needed that. Let me ask you something. How much of the mindset of struggle helps us today? And how much of it just keeps us in a cycle in this unnecessary pain? It's almost like we inflict this pain on ourselves. And there's a psychological part to this. What is the psychological part to the struggle and mindset? Let's break it down. The brain gets used to what it experiences the most. The brain is like a sponge, and it generally is. We all know that. Like the brain is a sponge, right? So it holds on to negative things easier than it holds on to positive things. So that's why it's always important to keep positivity around you. It's always important to like consume your day, consume your mind, consume your spirit with positive things. So the brain gets used to what it experienced the most. If you grow up seeing struggle as a norm, your brain starts to expect it. And over time, struggle becomes comfortable, even when it's painful. It's almost like people celebrate things in their cultures, right? They'll celebrate struggle, or I can talk about the African American culture. We celebrate in the hood. It's almost like we celebrate seeing people who are homeless, who are who are on drugs, who are going from place to place, who do all kind of absurd things. It's almost like we're okay with it. But you have to ask yourself, like, why am I okay with that? Why am I okay with seeing the struggle and expecting that this is what I'm going to see in this area or with this demographic of people, or this is what I'm going to see? Because now, over the time, that struggle has become a norm. That's why so many people sabotage themselves when life starts feeling too easy. If you're a self sabotager and things start going so well in your life, and you have been conditioned mentally to expect struggle, to expect problems, to expect unnecessary things to happen. So now when stuff starts going, you start doing crazy stuff. People start calling you narcissistic and you're not narcissistic. It's only because your brain started to expect things to happen negatively. So now it's like absorbing all of this negative stuff. And when something positive happens, it's unheard of. Like, no, this can't be real. I've heard a few people in my life say, every time stuff good starts to happen, I expect something negative to happen. I expect something negative to tear it down, or I expect something negative to change the system of what's happening. They expect it. And every time somebody tells me that, I get sad because I'm thinking like, why would you be expecting something negative to happen? Why would you do that? Like you have to expect good things all the time. Life happens. Life happens. But just because something, and this is my favorite thing to say, just because something chaotic happens, remember there's always a bigger picture. So when something chaotic happens, we want to like get down on ourselves, we get sad, we get depressed, we get upset, we get frustrated, right? But you have to think though, there is a bigger picture. There is something greater that could be happening. This chaotic situation could just be a distraction from you getting to the greater. Now you've given up and you've taken yourself 15 steps back. And when you think about it, doesn't that make you mad? Like, what? How, like, you were almost to the finish line and you decided because you thought somebody was inching up on you that you were just going to stop running. No way. No way. But like I said, that's why so many people sabotage themselves. When life starts feeling too easy, they feel like they're doing something wrong. If they're not exhausted or stressed out, they feel like this can't be real. This is too easy. Something bad's about to happen. And let's talk about the guilt. How many times, right, have you heard someone say, I had to work hard for this? So you should too. Or if I struggle to get here, you should have to. You shouldn't have it so easy. And we hear people say this all the time. Now, there's a difference in doing it for someone than teaching them how to do it and allowing them to get it for themselves. There's a difference in that. I'm a big person. Like, I don't like codependency. I don't like when people are codependent on me because I want you to believe in yourself. And I want you to believe in the power that is within you to do anything that you want to do because you can do it. I'm not going to watch you struggle. I'm going to teach you how to do it. So there's a difference. Just because you struggle to get to where you are doesn't mean other people should have to struggle to get there. I feel like if just think about it for a second, right? And this might be a little far-fetched for some, because I feel like if we all teach someone something that we know that they don't know, and then they teach someone something they know, but something that they didn't know, can you imagine how knowledgeable people would be? Can you imagine how after generation, instead of passing down trauma and pain and frustration and negativity, instead of passing those things down, let's pass down some good things. I think about all the time how like there are no older people in this world anymore that you could talk to who are like in their 80s and 90s. They're like 103. Or I remember one of my great grandmothers. I think she was 103 or 104 when she passed away. But I remember loving to listen to my grandmothers and my older uncles. And I remember loving to listen to them talk. And even as an adult now, sometimes I wish they were here so I can ask them a question. So instead of passing down trauma, maybe we should change the perspective and change the trajectory and start passing down love, knowledge, respect. Because maybe that will help us get out of this struggling mindset. But as we talk about the guilt of you should struggle because I struggle, you should have to do it because I did it. A lot of times I feel like that's jealousy. Because why would you want someone else to be inflicted with the same pain that you've been inflicted with? Because it hurts. It's almost like I cut my hand, so I want you to cut your hand too. Right? See, people laughing because that sounds crazy, right? That sounds like, why would I do that? That's not adding up for me because it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. That's a generational trauma speaking. That's exactly what it is. It's generational trauma that's speaking out of you. Instead of breaking the cycle, we refrain. Instead of breaking the cycle, we reinforce it by shaming people, by making them feel bad because they didn't have it hard, because they had things easier, because someone taught them how to do it, or they chose a smarter route. Why are we doing that? Why is it so hard for you to look at someone and say, you know what? You did that real easy. Can you teach me how to do it? But then, why is it so hard for people to just help people learn the easy way? And those are questions I want you to kind of fester. I want you to think about them. And DM me, inbox me. I would like to hear from someone with that perspective, why they feel that way. And do they feel like it's generational trauma speaking out? Because that's exactly what it is. The truth is, struggle is not a prerequisite for success. Growth doesn't have to be, or it doesn't have to come from suffering. There is a difference between hard work and unnecessary struggle. And I know that seems hard to believe too. Because what? There's a difference. Me having to struggle to get to a certain space in success, yes. But me wanting to continue to struggle, absolutely not. Me having to continue to struggle, absolutely not. I can be honest and say I had to struggle to get to a certain space, and once I got to that space, it was easy road. Bumps happen. There's potholes in all roads. Literally, there's potholes in all roads. But I never let that stuff get me down. I never let it stop me from going to the next level. I never glorify it. And most times I don't even talk about it. If I'm talking about my struggle, I'm talking about it because I want you to be encouraged. I want you to know that, yes, everything is falling down around you. The walls are caving in. Life is hard. People are talking about you. People are leaving your life. They're turning their backs on you. They're doing, yeah, they absolutely are. I understand, but don't stop. Keep going. Keep trying. Keep focusing. Keep standing up, keep showing up, keep doing what it is that you need to do. Because when you start focusing on that struggle, you start losing focus of the goal. Now, let's talk about this hustle culture because this is a big culture in today's society. It's like I'm a hustler, yeah, I'm a hustler. everybody is glorifying being a hustler. But what is hustling for real? In social media, will have you thinking that if you're not consistently grinding, you're failing. No days off, sleep when you're dead. I'm laughing because somebody said this to me earlier. Work twice as hard. And I'm laughing because I was talking to one of my friends earlier, and I just did a big event on the 29th. I just did a big event, huge event, 39 vendors and just a lot of activity going on. There was three ladies, well, me and two other ladies. We planned this event, and we planned this event within a 6 month span. And it probably really should have took a year to plan an event this big, but we did it in 6 months, and I'm proud of us. And I congratulate the ladies because they really, they did a big. But I was talking to my friend, and he was telling me, he's like, Demasha, he said, the last couple of days, I can hear in your voice that you were exhausted, you were tired. And I told him, I said, I know. And I said, every time I would try to lay down to try to get some rest, there would be something else, like there would be something else. And not even with the event, because when you're planning an event, you still got life going on. So when you're setting a goal and you're trying to get to these goals, you still got other stuff in life that's happening that's not a part of the goal. And that's okay. That is okay. So there are going to be times when it's like you're just on this grind, quote unquote, and you're just focused on getting these things done. And there are going to be times when you have stuff piled on top of each other, and they're kind of like overlapping each other a little bit because boom, I have the event. I'm also planning a class reunion. Like so many other little things are kind of like meat in the mold that they're coming together, but it's like they're kind of overlapping each other just a little bit. And he was like, but you have to stop doing that, is what he told me. He said, you have to get yourself in a space to where you shut other things down and you take a rest. And I told him, I said, you're completely right, right? I said, you're completely right. I said, and you know what I did? I only took 1 week. I only took 1 week when I said, okay, I'm taking this 1 week. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm not taking any clients. I'm not doing any readings. I'm not doing any of those things. I'm just going to focus on the event. When I should have took probably 2 or 3 weeks, because the week before I could have been resting. I could have been resting. So I'm telling on myself. And I used to be one of those people like sleep when I'm dead. Big time. I'm gonna hustle till I can't hustle no more. I'm up all night. I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing. I'm I'm hustling. Never thinking that it's okay. It's okay to say, hey, I got a lot on my plate. I need to take this off my plate. I need to take that off my plate. And then I need to focus on this. Once I get this done, then I can focus on this. The day after the event, Sunday, I slept all day. I was exhausted. I had worked myself all the way up. Now I'm like, oh, okay, wait. Now I got some other things to do. Got to start on the class reunion because that's the next thing to end. But that doesn't make it right. Let me ask you this: who benefits from this hustling, grinding mindset? Because you don't. You're exhausted, tired. You're doing a lot of stuff for other people and making them happy, but you're still not happy because people can hear it in your voice, they can see it on your face, they can feel it in your body language that you're exhausted, you're tired. If we're too busy grinding like 24/7, when do we actually build wealth? And I know people like, uh-huh, uh-huh. When do we build wealth? When do we create joy? When do we rest and heal? If your mind is always consumed with the hustle, how? You cannot battle if you don't rest. Even people in war today know this. They got first strain of soldiers go out. In sports, they got the starters. Everybody knows this except for the normal day-to-day people. And I know people like, oh, well, I don't have nobody to do this and I don't have nobody. I understand. I've been a single parent since my kids were 1 and 3. They're 17 and 14 now. So I've been a single parent doing it all by myself, not complaining. So I understand you feel like, oh, but after a couple of years, right, of doing this single parent thing, I realized that I was the one spending money that was unnecessary. I realized that I was the one who wasn't looking for an easier avenue. I was spending so much time hustling backwards that I wasn't creating wealth. I was spending so much time hustling backwards that I wasn't enjoying my children. And I had to stop and be like, wait a second. So you mean to tell me this 9 to 5 job getting all of this out of me, then I gotta come home and I have to lay down because I can't, I'm so exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally. I'm not healing. So I had to decide, like, big thing for me. Y'all take y'all PTO time. The time is there for you to take. Take it. If you go look in your PTO box right now and you got 50 something hours, take some time off. Take some time off and do some things that you like. The truth is, many of us are still living in survival mode, thinking we have earned rest instead of seeing it as a right. You don't earn rest, it's your right to rest. And what's worse, we pass this down to our kids. And we do. And we do. My son and I, my older son and I, he is diehard basketball and he wants to go to the pros and he wants to be the best that he can be. And I want him to be the best. Oh, we had a rocky 2 weeks because him and I are going back and forth about the things that he needs to do because he graduates next year. So it's important for me for him to graduate. It's important for me that he is successful in what he wants to do, not what I want him to do, but what he wants to do. And so I'm on his case, I'm on his back. And he came home the other day and he said, Mom, He said, "Why are you so hard on me?" And I said to him, "Because you told me that you wanted to do something, and I want to push you towards that thing." So he said, "Okay." A couple of days later, we went out to lunch. Him and I went out to lunch, and we just got into a deep conversation of how he feels and what he's thinking about. And he said, "I'm just getting tired of people telling me that I graduate next year because I know that." And it hit me, simplicity. He knows that. He knows that he graduates next year. Okay, what else? Do you know what you want to do? I do know what I want to do. I want to do this, this, and this. And there's other avenues if I don't make it to the pros, and this is and this and this is and this and this. And I said, okay, okay. And I told him, okay, we're done talking about it. I said, all I needed was to know that you know what you need to do and that you have a direction. When you need my help, let me know. I know jobs don't do that. So you have to steal that conversation by taking your PTO, by taking rest. And I don't know why I'm saying all of this. So whoever's going to be listening to this, it's time to rest. It's okay to work hard, but it's also good to take that time. We tell our children, you have to work twice as hard to be taken serious. Why? Why can't you just do your work? I have a saying, do your eight and hit the gate. Literally. But what if we taught our children, what if we taught them how to work smarter instead? What if we taught them to own instead of just working? What if we normalize balance instead of burnout? That's not glorifying the struggle. That's teaching them a better way. You can work smarter. You just have to remove the fear. A lot of us don't even like where we work, but we were too fearful to sign up for college or to do some kind of training because I don't have time and I don't have this and I don't. And sometimes you have to just take a risk. Let me tell you, success does not have to come from exhaustion. You don't have to prove your worth through suffering and the idea that struggle makes you stronger. It's really time for us to question that because who are we struggling for? Yes, rent can be a little bit lower. Your food could be a little bit cheaper, 100%. But if you own a home, you could grow your own food. If you worked in a position where you know this is what I really want to do, and we don't allow fear to hold us back, sometimes things take time. It takes time for you to get into the spaces where you need to be, and that's okay. That is okay. So, how do we break free from this struggle mindset, right? Stop equating pain with value. I'm going to say that again. Stop equating pain with value. Pain does not mean value. Success isn't more real just because you suffered for it. Ease doesn't mean you're lazy. It means you're efficient. You're using your mind. You're using your brain. And that's what we have a brain for, is to think, not for someone else to tell us this is how you have to do. You have to work hard, go harder, don't breathe, don't drink. Like what? All you gotta do is work, 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 work. Number two, Work smarter, not harder. Learn about passive incomes, investments, systems that make success sustainable, not exhausting. Learn about them. There are so many passive incomes out there, and I'm sure that there's one that you could do or you can have, something that you can start rotating money for yourself, even if it's an investment. Even if you're investing $20 every time, and it might be a sacrifice. Guess what? You might not be able to go out to eat. For the last 2 years, yeah, last 2 years, I've been kind of sitting back, right? Because I'm like, I don't want to rent anything anymore. Rent is crazy. Why does it cost so much to live in small spaces? And I'm thinking to myself, I might as well own something. So for 2 years, I'm not going to purchase anything big. I'm going to pay cash for things. I'm not going to have any credit cards. Cut up all my credit cards. I don't need credit. I'm just, if I don't have it, I'm not going to get it. And every time, and this sounds crazy, but every time Credit Karma or one of these credit apps send me this, congratulations, you've been doing good for 2 years and blah, 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 blah. I'm like excited because I didn't think I could do it. Because I like to shop sometimes. I like to shop online. I don't like to go in stores, but I like to shop. In that instance, work smarter, not harder. Learn about these passive incomes. Learn about investment. Get on YouTube University. They got a lot of information for you on YouTube University. Number three, prioritize rest. Your body, your mind, your spirit needs recovery. You don't have to earn it. It's yours. It's your right. People get mad at me because I keep my phone on D&D or I keep my phone on silent. I have so many phone calls in one day, so many text messages that little buzzing noise is like ding, 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 all those little stuff. That really bothers me. I find myself getting aggravated, so I keep my phone on silent all the time, no matter what. If my kids leave the house, I'll put the ringer on. But when they come back, that ringer's going back on because that's me prioritizing my rest and my peace. And you have to do that. You have to say, you know what, enough is enough. I'm not talking to nobody else today. I'm not doing anything else today. I'm about to lay down. Whether it's you laying down to scroll through your phone or you just whatever. Every Sunday, my time to rest is from 3 to 5. If you don't catch me before 3 o'clock, I don't know what to tell you. Because I'm probably taking a nap. That is my rest time. Every Sunday, 3 to 5, I'm out of here. My first 30 minutes when I get off work are mine. About 10 o'clock, sometimes 9, is mine. It's my time. Every year, I take a month off for my birthday. I don't do anything. I might podcast, but nothing too serious. It's my time. The whole 30 days, I'm doing what I want to do. If I don't want to do this, I'm not doing it. My schedule is generally closed. I'm sorry, and people get frustrated with me, but that's my time to rest. Number four, teach the next generation differently. Let's raise our kids who believe success is about, let's raise our kids to believe that success is about strategy and not suffering. The reality is, glorifying struggle keeps us in survival mode, but we're not meant to be there. We are meant to thrive. It's time to shift the narrative. At what point do we stop glorifying struggle and start glorifying ease? I want you to think about that for a second. If you continue after you listen to this podcast to glorify struggle, I want you to think about how hard your life is going to be. But if you start glorifying the ease, working smarter, investing, prioritizing, doing the things that we don't like to do because nobody likes to adult. We don't like to adult. Adulting is ghetto. But if we take more consideration into ourselves and not the struggle, into ourselves and what we need and what makes us thrive, things could be different for us. Life could be different. Mindset can be different. Our children could be different. I did not want my children to watch me struggle my whole life. It was important for me to get to a space to where I didn't have to struggle. And when I say we all go through struggles, all of our struggles are different. We don't have the same struggles all the time. Sometimes we have similar struggles to other people, but our mindset about the struggle may be completely different. On the next show, we're going to go a little bit deeper because we're going to tackle the glorification of materialism. Why do we put so much value on luxury, designer, flex culture, while real wealth building takes the backseat? Things that we should really focus on. When you really think about people who are very successful, right? They're very successful. 9 times out of 10, you see them like on trips, enjoying moments, enjoying their family, doing things that make them happy. A lot of times we will say, well, I don't have the money to do that. But then I want you to look at your spending. Look at what you're spending. Because sometimes we put ourselves in the struggle because our mind has held on to struggle. So we can't see the way out because we think this is the way that things are supposed to be. So if you're laying down right now and you're listening to this podcast and you feel like you're in a mindset of struggle or you're in survival mode, I want you to ask yourself out loud, why am I struggling? Why am I struggling? How did I get to this space where I'm struggling the way that I'm struggling? Do I have to struggle this way? I had a friend a few weeks ago. We were talking about their finances. And I was saying, well, how much do you make an hour? She told me. What do your bills look like? She told me. So we're writing down all the bills and we're writing down how much she makes and the times that she gets paid, different things like that. And this time I didn't even ask her for her bank statements to look at the bank statements because I already knew. I said, well, after you pay your bills, you have like $1,600 left over. And she said to me, she says, no, I don't. I said, yes, you do. I said, so these are your main bills, right? And I just did a rough estimate of what taxes will take out, what benefits will take out, what 401k will take out. And so she said to me, well, where's the money? I laughed. I was like, girl, I don't know. I don't know. But that got her to thinking. And then when she called me back, she was like, Demasha, I just went over just one bank statement. And she said, I realized that I spent on this, this, and this, and this, and this. And I said, okay. I said, now ask yourself, do you really need those things? Are they important? Is it a life and death? Because what is life and death is you prioritizing the things that you need in your life. You investing, you working smarter and not harder, you removing this struggle mindset, you not glorifying the pain more than you glorify the ease. You allowing those thoughts of I'm going to forever struggle because my mom struggled and my aunt struggled and my cousin struggled and all of us struggled in my family and I'm going to struggle too. You removing those thoughts is what is important. That's the most important piece to life, is learning how to step outside of yourself, learning how to step outside of the norm of who you think you are, not who you know yourself to be. Because most of us don't know ourselves because we're still stuck in this. I'm gonna glorify this pain. I'm gonna hustle till I die. Hey, come back. Come back. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You can make sound decisions and you can do things that are going to be a great change in your life. You could be the first millionaire. And I know that sounds a little bit cliche, right? But you could be. You could be the first millionaire in your life. You can make an investment into something and it could be something great. And it could just give you an overflow of what you need. We always get mad at the rich and we say the rich are always getting richer. They're always trying to make us poor. But you know the thing that they're doing, they're thinking. They're thinking. And if we start to think, guess where we could be? If we start to do things with ease, if we start to say, you know what? I'm going to wake up every morning and I'm going to say, I am not in survival mode. Money is flowing freely to me. I have everything that I need. And we start looking at life like that, things could be a little different. Things could be a little different. That's a wrap for today. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for allowing me to speak from my heart, from my mind, and from my spirit. If this message resonated with you, if it touched your heart, please share it with someone. Share it with them, talk to them about it. Start shifting your mindset today. Don't wait till next week. Don't wait till tomorrow. Start shifting your, whenever you finish listening to this podcast, start shifting your mindset at that moment. I always tell people in the beginning, and I forget to say it sometimes, but most of the time I try to tell you to get your pen and paper and take notes. And when you have those thought triggering moments when I'm talking and I trigger a thought, write those thoughts down because those things are important for you. Because I don't know what you're writing down, but you do. You do. Stay consistent. You don't have to be in grind mode. You don't have to rest when you die because you ain't going to even know that you're resting. So I don't know why we say that. You don't have to stay up all night on the grind. Just do it. How can you work smarter and not harder? I want you to think about it. How can I make things more efficient? If you're a content creator like me, definitely schedule. I love the calendar. It lets you schedule almost up to, I think it's like 35 days on one. Another one, they give you another 35 or 60 days or something. I be scheduling on all of them. Picking one day and I'm just scheduling all kind of stuff. People think I'm on the internet and I'm not. I schedule it. It's a scheduled post because that helps me work smarter and not harder. I can schedule a post to drop and then be out to dinner with my children. And that's the space that you want to put yourself into. That is the space. Remember, we air every Tuesday at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. on 101.5 Indie Radio. And don't forget to nourish your mind and body and soul with Takai Divine Tea, because real healing starts within. You can catch me on Roku TV. Just search SSH 101 TV, open up Just TV, and fast forward to the live TV rotating show, okay? I want to say I'll see you all next week, but I know I will see you before next week for another one of our deep conversations. Until then, keep your mind sharp and your energy pure. This is Demasha K signing off. Thank you all for tuning in to Zip My Motivation. And so this is my 10-minute motivational segment. If you stayed this long, thank you. I appreciate it. But this is the 10 minutes where I motivate you to be the best person that you can be and do the best that you can do. Don't allow people, things, and situations get you into a space to where you feel like you are no longer you anymore, but you are robotic. Robots do not have minds. They are programmed to think a certain way. And you are not a robot. You're allowed to freely think and be who you are and do what you love. And if people around you love you, they're going to appreciate you and love you just for that. You have an opportunity right now to sit with yourself and just think for a second. I want to be myself. No, I don't like my job. No, I don't like my situation. I want to do better. How can I? And when you ask yourself this question, right? When you ask yourself this question, I want you to really think of the how. How? And when you write down how can I do better? And things start coming into your mind, I want you to remove fear. Don't be afraid, because fear will hold you back. Like, it will hold you back. Like, you can't move when fear is holding you, because fear is supposed to be a deterrent. It's created to make you feel worthless, like you can't do it, like you don't have the ability. It's created for that reason. So we already know that. So let's remove it. Remove the fear. Remove the fear and breathe. And you don't have to show anybody this paper that you're writing on. You don't have to give them what you're imparting to yourself. You don't have to be accountable to anyone except for yourself. You don't have to. You can take that paper and you could write it down, or you could text it to yourself, or you could put it in your messages and you could put a lock on it. And nobody has to see what you truly feel and what you really want to do except for you. And you start moving in that way. I don't think it's good always to tell people your dreams and your aspirations anyway, because sometimes they are not aligned with those things and they cannot see you doing those things because they feel like they know you. So they're going to try to tear you down, and they're going to try to make you feel bad and make you feel some kind of way about what it is that you want to do. But we're not going to allow them to do that, because we're going to keep it a secret and we're just going to do it. We're just going to start moving towards that way because you can do it. Nobody wants to continue to struggle. And we have to stop glorifying and normalizing this struggle. We have to start glorifying the things that are really worth us glorifying. The success of life. And I'm not saying the success of life is the extent of being a millionaire or having all this money, because when it comes down to it, who really cares about that? You can't take the money with you, but you can work smarter and you can live comfortable while you're here. So do it. Don't wait. Don't think about it. I always tell people, don't think, just do. Don't think, just do. Just do. If it's something that's for the betterment of your life and for the betterment of your children's life or whoever, if you don't have kids, maybe it's your little puppy. And I call little puppies and cats and animals, those are your children. I had a son that was a turtle. He was my son. I had to give him up for adoption and I was sad about it. And people laugh, but I was, because he was a part of me. So whatever and whoever you're connected to, and you feel like I want to do better for me and I want to show them that I can do better, but I also want to show them that they can do it too. That's what's important. That is what's important. These 10 minutes are probably the most powerful message that you would get out of the 40-minute, 50-minute podcast. But I believe in you. And I know people like, you don't even know me. I believe in everybody because I know that people can do it. It's about their mindset. It's about them learning how to think for themselves and knowing that you have the ability to do it. Growing up, we used to hear people say, you could do anything you want to do. And did we believe them? Or did trauma set in? Or did fear set in? Because we believed them when we were young, because we would go into these classrooms and say things like, I want to be a lawyer and I want to be a doctor and I want to do this. And then we got older and was like, oh no, it's a lot of schooling. I better do something else. You see what I'm saying? Fear, fear, trauma, distractions, everything possible that can hold you down, hold you back from being you. You. No more. No more. Own something. Build a business. Yes, being a business owner is not always easy. You have to learn how to work smarter and not harder. But you got this. You can do it. I know you can do it. I believe that you can do it. Again, this is it, my motivation. I appreciate you all. I love you all. And I believe in you all. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever. Zip my motivation. Remember 101.5 Indie Radio every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Just TV, rotating shows. But don't just watch my show, watch the other shows that come on there too. I appreciate you all. Good night.